This is the third video of a three-part series of how to teach your dog to be calm inside the kennel. In the first video, we talked about just creating a positive association with the kennel. In the second video, we talked about the rules of engagement for this. The dog has to lay down before it can come out. Now, the primary reason we do this is we want the dog to practice being calm inside the kennel. Now, when we get to the stage we're going to discuss in this video, the dog is already going in, it's laying down right away within about 15 seconds. Once that's the case, after it's laying down within 15 seconds, it's done a couple times, then when it lays down, I'm going to wait, after it lays down, I'm going to wait another 15 seconds. Then I'm going to give it the recall command. The next time I do it, I'm going to go to maybe 45 seconds. Next time, or vary it up. Sometimes you have to do 15, 30, 45, something like 20, 40, 60, whatever it is, but you want to have short intervals. Now if the dog gets up, then we repeat the exercise. We basically stop, we have to wait for the dog to sit down. When it sits, we take our step backwards. When it lays down, then we're going to count to 15 or whatever our interval is, then we're going to give the dog the command to come. Then it gets to come out and enjoy the treat. Now when you're doing this, because you have two dogs, I would suggest you have the other dog so it's not in the room making noise or causing a distraction. You might have to have a dog walker, put a dog daycare or something like that. So we're going to gradually work the dog up. At first it's 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Then we're going to go by minutes. When we get to minute, we're going to go 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute. We're going to go up to about 15 minutes. That's a long time to sit around watching your dog. Once you get up to 15 minutes, then you can start playing around with it. You can play around with the intervals a little bit before that, but usually I go 1 minute intervals up to 15 minutes. Then I go by 2.5 minute intervals from 15 to 17 and a half, then to 20, then to 30, then to 40. And then I usually go by 10 or 15 minute intervals all the way up to 2 hours. Studies have shown if a dog can make it past the 2 hour mark, they're good beyond that. Now we don't want to leave a dog in a kennel for longer than 5 hours. Studies show that anything longer than that will cause stress for the dog. So we want to keep it under 5 hours. Now if you have to, come home, take the dog out, feed it, let it do some business, and then you can put it back in for another 5 hours if you have to. But really 5 hours, you want to try to keep it under that. All right, so once the dog, and we've gotten up to 15, and the dog is laying down in the kennel. Now let's say the dog's laying down and gets up and turns around and then lays down but doesn't try to come out, we keep the timer going. We only interrupt or reset the timer if the dog tries to exit. And we go by short intervals because we want the dog to practice being calm. And they're calm in the kennel because the human is there and the human's right in front. You might even put a chair in front when you get to because it's a long time you're gonna have to sit there. Grab a magazine, grab your phone, hold it up this way so you're still looking at the dog. So the dog tries to come out, you can make the hissing sound. And if you're sitting, stand up. Now make sure you're not sitting unless the dog is sitting or lying down first. All right, once you get up to the 2 hour mark, and again, the door is completely open. There is nothing restraining the dog other than your authority. The next step is we're gonna repeat that whole process, but this time, after the dog lays down, we're gonna close the door. We're not gonna latch it, we're just gonna close the door. Then we're gonna take our steps backwards, and eventually when the dog is sitting, we can take a seat, and then we're gonna go by those 15, 30, 45, 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, 20, so on and so forth until it gets 2 hours. The door is closed. You're sitting right in front of the dog. Now the next stage is to repeat the whole process again, but this time when you close it, you latch it. So you're doing all of these things while you're several feet away from the door and the dog can see you clear as day. When we got to this point, we've gone up to the 2 hour mark 3 times and we help the dog practice being calm inside the kennel. The way dogs' minds work is similar to ours, is we have something called a myelin sheath that covers over our neural pathway. This is why the more that we practice things, the better and faster at them we get. But if we stop practicing, we start getting rusty. So for dogs, what we want them to do is practice this and ideally have a nap or a sleep after that. Naps and sleeps help dogs rearrange their neural pathways. So they'll retain and recall the information they've learned the next time better. But ideally, because we do this in gradual iterations, by the time we get up to the 3rd time where we've done this, now the dog is completely calm, relaxed in the kennel, seeing the human. Now, once we've gotten into the last stage, then the next stage is you do the whole process, and as soon as the dog lays down, then you just walk outside of the dog's line of sight, then walk back, and then sit down in your kennel. And then you wait another minute or 2, and then you let the dog out. Next time you do this, you go out of your line of sight for 5 seconds, then for 10, then for 20. You gradually increase the iterations. You're still in the house. Dog can hear you and smell you, but cannot see you. And the door is closed. Now, the last little caveat, and we want to basically keep on going up to that point where we can get the dog to stay in the kennel with us out of sight for 2 hours. By that point, you'll have it licked. Now, it seems like a long process, but as you're going through this, you're going to be able to take bigger and bigger steps because the dog understands what we're doing. But the idea is now the dog has practiced being calm in the kennel. It's normal for them to be calm in the kennel, even not seeing you. And then the last step would be actually when put them in the kennel, maybe go outside your door, wait 10 seconds and come back inside. Never let your dog out of the kennel when they're excited. So what I do is if the dog's excited, I open the kennel door and I wedge my feet in here, and then I step away the same way we've already described, and I don't let the dog out until it's completely calm, and then I invite it outside. Now, if the dog goes in the kennel on its own, it can come and go as it pleases. It's only when I put it in when we're doing this exercise that it can't leave without permission. So this is how we get our dog to relax and practice being calm inside the kennel.